What up, Bears fans? Your boy Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Listen, we got another hot for you today. Another live show. I got the gang here today. Jay, Tarbarian, AJ, Julius, Bill. I know we got the whole crew. We got to come up with a name for the crew today. Listen, all the talk about the Bears quarterback situation, the history of the quarterback. I had a thought. I said, man, listen, it's different from a coach's perspective, of course, right? We talk about the back here with the Bears, and I really don't believe the trope, the saying that all of the Bears quarterback situations are related to the quarterback themselves, that we didn't have a franchise quarterback in all this time. So I said, let's take a look at the OCs. And that's what today's show is about. We're going to debate it. We're going to talk about whether it's the OCs as the quarterback. We're going to talk about that and so much more. Y'all know what next, man. We have to, as soon as I find it, we have to cue the intro maestro. Let's go.
Life like chess move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them binges, I fill my teeth with diamonds. The Lord done put me through some tests so I can learn my lesson. They take advantage when you cool, I can't control aggression. We go back and forth talking, so who we really blaming? Tell me to change, I'm not myself, and then you start complaining. Can't understand your situation if you had a main. But you paused me for some shots, we barely knew it.
And just like that, we're back, Bears fans, with the mod squad. I don't know. We got to come up with a name for the crew, man. This is, you know what I'm saying? You got to put a moniker on it. It's going to come to us. We're not going to force it, man. What's going on? The gang in the building. Julius, Jay, Tarbarian, and AJ in the building. What's up? What's been going on this week with y'all?
Just waiting to dive into this one right here. This is an interesting one, Coach.
It's a week. That's what it is.
It's a week, interesting week we've had already with Bears. You know what I'm saying? The Chicago Bears report back to Hallis Hall for the start camp this week. We'll give a rundown for that in a second. You know what I'm saying? Not a whole lot going on, but you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a different year because, you know, HBO's in the building, Hard Knocks in the building. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's pretty crowded in there from what I can tell in the press room. Not a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? The Bears aren't issuing out a whole lot of press credentials this year because of the crowded rooms and all that,
That's why
so on and so forth.
Give out many tickets for training camp this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. You know, a lot of fans are displeased with the situation with training camp, so on and so forth. More eyes on. Do you think that's really affecting, you know what I'm saying, the fan situation? The fact of HBO Hard Knocks, you know what I'm saying? We said we wanted this. Now the fans are kind of pushed out. Also, they're not doing the Bears family night.
Fest. They're not doing family fest. I was like, yo, wait, what? Yo, that's crazy, dog. That's crazy.
Yeah,
they're not doing family fest. I can't believe
that was wild when I found that out. I did not know they weren't doing family fest because I know that's one of the things my boy was talking about going to, but I guess they ain't doing it. So it is what it is.
Did they put out a reason why?
It said some. I heard something to do with the concert. They had some concerts at Soldier Field and some other stuff going on, so they didn't have the time to do it.
Just bad conflicts
conflicting scheduling. Which is crazy because they do Family Fest like every year. You would think to know not to schedule concerts that weekend.
But also, let me ask you this. Chicago is Soldier Field the only football stadium in the region?
No.
No.
Just, you know what I'm saying? Piss poor preparation lead to piss poor performance. That's all what I was told back in my days. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have moving to Northwestern Stadium anywhere near close in Evanston. They
remember when Soldier Field was getting remodeled. We was in Champaign. You can't slide down to the old crib one time.
Man, for real,
bro. Evanston actually it ain't that far from there. Like it ain't.
It's not. It's
nice
not.
Little quick drive. What 30 minutes maybe?
About 30 minutes.
Yeah, you gotta know what I'm saying? You got to go ahead and move that thing around logistically to make sure the fans get, you know what I'm saying? Don't pull back anything off
Hey,
of what you've
if you
done
would
in
have kept
previous
it at
years.
if you would have kept it at Urbanus, we wouldn't have this problem now, would we? Nope.
Bourbonnais
Yeah.
had all the room for everything, man. They did.
I mean, you would have more fans. Tickets wouldn't be in high demand. All this mess, but hey, that's neither here nor there.
They trying to make it all exclusive now. You know what I'm saying? We all fancy now. We become the NFL bougie
Ooh,
franchise. They're gonna make it all. They're gonna make it
ooh,
all
so
excuses.
bougie.
Let's do a quick recap of what's going on this week and next week leading up to the season. Of course, we showed this last week. Of course, the players are there. We got a week and a half until the first preseason game at the Hall of Fame game.
Yes.
The Bears and Buffs in Buffalo. We host Cincinnati on August 17th. And then also they have a joint practice that week. August 22nd, we go to Kansas City, which I think would be a nice test for the Bears defense. Going out that week.
First string even plays that week.
We're gonna get into that in a minute, AJ. And then September 8th, Tennessee at home, the home season opener. We kick off the season. I want to talk about something real fast. It was reported out and this week, of course, one of the things that came out this week, not a whole lot from the two report days, was question was asked about Caleb Williams and the offenses, really Caleb Williams playing time. And Matt Eberflus said that he would get somewhere between 45 and 65 plays. Now, with 4 preseason games, I did the math on that. That's about 10 plays per. Now, be distributed different ways, and I understand that we do have the joint practices with Cincinnati, with the Bengals. But how do you guys feel about, you know what I'm saying, 45 to 65 plays? And they use C.J. Stroud and somebody else, the rookie quarterback,
and Bryce Young. Richardson and Bryce Young.
Right. So how do y'all feel about, 45 plays if it comes out that way? I said it last week when somebody asked the question, or I think it was Thursday's show. I said about 2 drives probably I wanted to see out of him the first game. But how do y'all feeling about 10, 2 drives, basically? 10 plays, 2 drives.
Well, I don't hate it, but I also don't think he'll play the Hall of Fame game. Most players don't. I think it'll be spread out between games 2 through 4, I guess, essentially. But I feel like as long as the first game he plays at least 2 quarters, I'll be good. At least 2 quarters the first game. If he plays like a series the second game because of the joint practice, that's cool with me. And then like the third game he plays a quarter, I'm satisfied. I think that's plenty.
You mean the first 2 games that he actually plays?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You saying you want him to play? You want him to actually play the Hall of Fame game?
I don't think he plays the Hall of Fame game. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he plays.
Right. So the 2 games he actually plays, so 2 drives.
So I'm talking about like the Bengals, the Chiefs, and I forget what the other team is.
Yeah.
How about you, Julia? Or hey?
Go ahead, Jay.
No, you go. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Coach, I'm thinking the Cincinnati game is going to be the big one because I think that's where the bulk of his workload is going to go. I'm expecting probably about 22 snaps that game, and I'm going to tell you why. You don't want to have a situation to where you're going into Kansas City, the last preseason game, open up the season with a little bit of mental fatigue. We go back to that John Gruden video with Chris Sims, and Chris Sims is a very smart football guy. Even in the infancy of his career, he had a lot of mental fatigue, and John Gruden was visibly frustrated. I don't want to put Caleb Williams in that situation going into the season to where now it's feel like it's backloaded data. Get him ready in Cincinnati to where you could just do some window dressing in Kansas City and go and beat the fuck out of Tennessee. Have him ready. So if you're Eberflus and you want to give him that 45 to 60 snaps, I think Cincinnati will be the bulk of it. Going back to AJ's point, he's probably not going to see the field against Houston.
Isn't that the joint practice though? Is Cincinnati?
Yeah, that's a joint practice week.
Yeah, then I
So
doubt he plays barely Cincinnati since they're gonna have a joint practice together.
But
yeah,
I mean,
It's gonna
what's
be
the what?
that first game, not the Houston one, but the one after that.
So
They
does
play
the
four
second
preseason games this year.
does the second preseason game is where you think he'll get the bulk of his work?
Then he gets a light
yeah.
week against Cincinnati, and then probably a quarter against Kansas
That
City.
game that's the Buffalo week. That's in Buffalo too on the
So
road.
yeah, I think he gets the majority of his snaps against Buffalo.
What's your thoughts on the Julius?
Well, I think that one thing we've learned over the last 3-4 years, especially in the NFL, is like a lot of these teams were trying not to play their starters in the preseason, and NFL has looked like crap for the last 3-4 years, the first 4 weeks of the season. And I know a lot of coaches and stuff were talking about it last year and even some in the off season. So I think that they should play him a little, because last year we all was screaming like, why aren't they playing more in the preseason? And then he gets a regular season and they look like crap. So I think that they'll do a little bit more. 45 to 65. I don't know if that may be enough considering, like you said, all the things that he's having to learn and do and change, and you know what I'm saying, and to get himself ready for the first game. I think maybe they should do a little more, not a whole lot more, but hey, that's on them, man. I think that last year provided the lessons that you needed, and if you choose to not do more than you did last year, then you might end up with the same result. So,
Yeah, we came banged up last year to start the season, especially up front. I'm more concerned about, what I'm saying, the situation with the offensive line this year over year. That's just not a good thing for us. Even though we have more depth at the offensive line this year, we still have to establish the starting five. So, and the style of ball that we have to play early on, we have to be a little bit more physical in our style of play offensively. I don't know that you run your starters out there. And it's crazy because it's the Hall of Fame game. So it's probably going to be the first test for Matt Eberflus anyway in his leadership and his decision making. Because remember what I said, man, you can't remove the politics from football. I'm not doing that anymore. It's the Hall of Fame game. The NFL has decided to put you, on the stage to start the season, the biggest stage, when it comes to the NFL to start the season in the Hall of Fame game. Even people that don't watch the Bears or people that aren't Bears fans are going to be watching. We got Houston. Oh yeah, they're gonna be watching C.J. Stroud, C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams.
Stroud's not gonna play.
He's not even gonna play. Yeah,
Stroud's not gonna play. They already said he's not playing. That's why they usually don't play the starters a Hall of Fame game. They usually don't. Like if you look back the past several years, they usually don't play the starters the Hall of Fame game. It's usually those because it's technically an extra game in a sense for two teams, so they usually don't play the starters.
What I would like to see overall systemically is there to be some kind of ramp up for Caleb and the offense into the season. I think all the questions about, how much to play players in the preseason, do we play them, do we not? I think there should be an organic kind of ramp up into the season. So I would be okay with them not playing a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? If they just go through the pregame routine, right? Because people don't realize that's part of it as well. Part of preparing for the season is going through your pregame routine, warm-ups. What are we doing? When are we breaking down? How are we breaking down? What section of the field is everybody supposed to be on? For the coaches, game time operations, making sure getting out there, making sure your equipment is working. How are we communicating? What channel are you going to be on? Who's going to be on the field? Who's going to be in the booth? You know what I'm saying? How are we going to handle halftime adjustments, right? Do you come in the locker room at halftime? For example, most of the time when I was on the staff, we've been at halftime and we meet as a coaching group, as a coaching group, a whole staff for about 5 minutes. Then we as a side of the ball group, offense or defense, about 5 minutes, say what we're seeing, each coach, whatever position coach, and then you go get with your individual plays. It's like a mini practice in the locker room, right? And say, hey, this is what we're going to do coming out, right? That whole routine has to be established. How are you going to do logistics of it all? Moving a team from Hallis to North Canton, whole logistics is part of it's part of practice for the whole entire Bears organization. So it's not like it won't be lost that we don't get players on the field or see the players that we want to see. It's still practice for them, big picture, and getting the logistics part of it down. And again, you know what I'm saying, if they get a snap or two in there, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. I think, they just have to make sure whatever they do still, even then, I just don't want to see, even if it's second or third stringers out there, the game's operating. I don't want to see no false starts and all that sloppy stuff, offensive linemen jumping off, wide receivers jumping off. That'll let you know.
This is the first football they've played in months.
I'm hoping we don't. Let me move on to something else real fast. Where my bookmark is before we get to the big topic. I gotta go check my bookmarks. So y'all know y'all was about this, right? I know y'all was gonna hear about this. I don't know if I'm gonna clip it up and put it in, but Kevin Fishbane reported that the Bears wide receiver Keenan Allen on quarterback Caleb Williams said, as far as his progress from the spring to the start of camp, he called the plays. He called the plays for emphasis way better than he did at OTAs. There was no timidness from him today. He said that he called the plays. I'm just going to serve that up and let y'all cook, because we were talking about this, and I said, listen, I don't believe that the issue is with, inflection of voice and all this other stuff. The timidness from the play calling probably comes from calling, actually having to recite a play. It's like the first time you went to school and you took a particular subject and they asked you to read out loud. If you weren't a particularly good reader or you hadn't practiced reading, then perhaps, you were like, hey, you're reading a little bit timid. You know what I'm saying? What are y'all saying? And I'm freezing a little bit, so I'm gonna go off screen.
I would expect him to be better from OTAs to camp. So, it's not really like a surprise for me, I guess. Like I said, good for him, I guess. Keep building on that. Get better each day at calling
you
the
a
plays.
Lions fan. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You a fucking Lions fan. Sad behavior, Lee. We got our young pup getting the pack ready for a hunt, and he's delivering information with conviction. That's
good.
That's great. That's great, considering the fact that Keenan Allen ain't 26, 27. He's a grown ass fucking.
I didn't know that.
He's a grown ass man. So
I thought he was 15.
That's because light skinned guys we keep our youth, but for
here you go with the light
Keenan Allen to appreciate him delivering that information. Keenan Allen he went from Phillip Rivers to Justin Herbert, another good quarterback. So for him,
the way you discredit Justin Herbert all the time. Though, I'm surprised you even said that.
Because he kind of overrated and he held the charges back.
Anyway, you're done.
Let's stay on topic.
You're done.
Let's just stay on topic. To answer your question, Coach T, I'm excited because for me knowing that Caleb is still in the infancy of his career, starting off, I'm glad that he's getting comfortable enough to deliver the play in a huddle.
Isn't that what I just said?
Pretty much.
Has seen it before.
I'm just glad. I'm glad that he's getting better. I'm glad that he's getting more comfortable. He's putting the work in. Seems like they're really putting the effort in to make it all work. And I keep saying it. It seems like they used the last couple of years to figure out their process. So it looks like the Bears are heading the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that
as Jayla Johnson said, and I completely agree, it's time for results. Enough about potential. Got to see results.
You got to see results. So, you know what I'm saying? The only way you're going to get results is if you got to put the work in. If you don't put the work in, you're going to see what's happening. But when I say put the work in, that's on everybody. Coaches and everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's I think that we can all agree that it's a different tone at Hallis Hall now. It's different. Everybody's different. The organization's heading in a different direction. So I mean, I like it, but I'm gonna wait to see. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a wait and see.
There you go.
We all sunshine and rainbows right now because we ain't touching nobody. Pats ain't come on. None of this hoopla, right? The games haven't been played. Nah, okay, I expect you to be cheerful and happy, but I'm gonna let it play out. I'm gonna see what happens first.
Yeah, I want to see.
Right.
I want to see what
Like
they do.
Jayla said, bro, you talk a big game, but I got to see it on the field.
Yeah.
Got to see it on the field.
Well, the last couple of practices, the reports said the defense have been been the superior side of the ball. I want to see going through like the rest of the practices and preseason. I want to see if that leverage switch a little bit. I want to see reports coming out of Caleb absolutely ripping them apart at least one or two times.
I mean, it's not a surprise at this point because the offense has so many new faces, a new coordinator, things like that. So I would expect the defense to be ahead because it's basically the same defense. You added like Kevin Byard and a couple other guys, but for the most part, your cornerback room stayed the same. Mm-hmm. Like Montez Sweat is back for another year, so the defense has mostly been intact from last year. So I expect them to be ahead of the offense right now. No surprises there.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the offensive side of the ball is the new guys on the block.
Yeah, it's so new on the offensive side.
So I want to see if we could get to a point to where they can have a little bit more success against the guys that were already here.
They'll get there. I feel like it'll come later in camp because basically in camp it's the same place mostly for like the whole camp. They're not really running like what they would do in a game and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So once they figure out the defense's installs, I think you'll start seeing the offense come out on the other end.
Yeah, they're gonna have their days. They're gonna
have their days. So
they're gonna have their days, but I think that the defense is gonna. If we were talking about who's probably gonna win camp, the defense is gonna win camp.
Probably, yeah, for sure. Like I said, they didn't really change much, so it's just not a surprise if they win camp this year.
And that's only because the defense, like Alicia just said, that like the defense is basically added an all-pro safety. Gervon Dexter and Sweat are there. Dexter has leveled up apparently according to Sweat.
Andrew Billings is still there. Like
Bayer is a really good defensive leader, as people have been saying. He's really calling them out, getting people in the right places. Jalen Johnson is looking to assert himself as the best corner in the league. You got Kyler Gordon, who said he's healthy now and feels like last year it wasn't a good year for him, so he's got a point to prove. We all know what Tyreek Stevenson gonna do.
For real, man's a dog.
So if we asking in totality who gonna win camp, the defense is. The offense, they gonna have their moments, but defense is gonna.
Yeah, defense is gonna. They gonna win camp for sure.
Yeah,
they should win the season. Jesus.
No, we just talking about preseason.
We're just talking preseason and camp and stuff like that. But
yeah. We're just saying like who we think. Like there was like we talked about what you said. How the comment came out. All the defense one day, and we didn't get to talk about how people was losing their mind because the defense won a day. Like, did you think that the offense was going to win on day one?
If you did, like with all them new faces and new OC, I did not.
Yeah, I think Rome had a funeral the other day. That's why he missed practice.
Yeah, Rome wasn't there, but he had an excused absence. So,
Hey, I want to do a quick segue into something we discussed Thursday show that I thought was a real good comment, discussion in the chat. Great debate in the chat. It was just really a discussion. I also want to segue and talk about this as well because something I kind of learned from that conversation. Me and Jay and AJ was talking about this pre-production, right? I like the fact that we have discussions like we did Thursday or the topics that we bring up on the show because that are more nuanced, because it gives you something to look out for. An example is this. We discussed Thursday show. We had a great debate about, or we asked the chat. Now, ask again for the people that didn't get a chance to participate, right? How do you resolve the conflict? If I was in the press room, I would ask Shane Waldron this question. How do you resolve the conflict between the style of play that we know we need to play to win, right? Early on. The emphasis on early on. How you resolve the conflict between the style of play, which is mostly 12 personnel, and the pressure to get Rome on the field, right? Which one are you choosing? Which one fans want to see? Do you want to see Rome on the field, or you want to see us win with 12 personnel and just win early on and get Caleb acclimated to, you know what I'm saying, the NFL, the offense? You can't have both. Which one are you choosing?
I need to see Caleb with 12 personnel, because at a certain point, one of his strengths is his accuracy and his ability to thread the needle. When you're running a physical brand of football like that, you're not gonna be out here spreading the ball, fucking shooting around 55 to 60 attempts. No, you gotta be able to take your chances when you got the opportunity. It's like almost when a poisonous snake strike. It's not 6-7 bites. It's one strike, boom, you're done. There's going to be a lot of situations to where Caleb is going to have an opportunity to go for somebody's jugular in the middle of running the ball down somebody's throat while we are eroding somebody's diamond quarter defense. So I want to see Caleb, how precise he can be when we call his number. Remember in Hard Knocks, where he's sitting there grinning at the TV because he knows what plays that gets him in rhythm, the ones that gets him going. I want to see how Waldron incorporate those type of plays while we're literally punching somebody in the fucking face for 7 to 9 minutes of drive. What plays are we going to dial up so where Caleb can strike with his hemotoxin venom?
Go ahead, AJ.
I just want to win games at the end of the day, so do what you have to do. I don't care. Whichever method works, that's what I care about. So, like, I know people want me to, like, just, like, pick a choice. Whichever one helps win games. That's I'm so bullshit. I'm sorry. But I guess I'd say the 12 personnel, right? I mean, just to get Caleb acclimated and things like that, right? But I feel like you could also do that while incorporating Rome. Like, I feel like you could balance it out enough where, like, you know, you run the ball enough, it's going to set up, like, the play action deep pass and go routes and stuff like that. So I feel like you could be able to do both. But whatever helps us win games, I don't really care. Just win games.
Well, people won't get their fantasy points.
I don't care about your damn fantasy. Did we win the game? That's like this is what I'm going to come back to every week. Did we win the game? Because if we didn't win the game, I don't care how cute he looked on the field. I don't care. No, did we win? That's what I care about. What's the W? What's the box column say? W or L? That's all I'm going to care about.
I think people were I want to see 12 personnel personally, because that's what I like. I like all around balanced football. Like I just put the comment up there, balance is key. So I want to see balance. I don't want to see.
Shout out to Mac Allen, by the way, too.
Yeah. I want to see. I want to see Rome, but I don't want to see it at the detriment of the team and the win. Like,
thank you.
He'll get there. The man gonna be here 4 years. Do I need to see him this year as a whole lot? No, he got time. I want to see this team keep going and eventually get to a Super Bowl. But if we're patient, but if we're not, then we're just gonna be like all these other teams that just want to throw all our weapons out there and hope that we win instead of doing what's trending now.
What's best for the team?
Like Kansas City showed that, hey, the NFL is getting back to using the running game to help the passing game. Like for a while, it was pass.
Fast break football.
Yeah, it was fast break football. Now we're seeing you need a running game, and guess what? If you got a dominant running game, it's hard for these teams to stop you. And I think you talked about this in one of the shows last year. T was these DN and the D tackle was getting smaller. But now we're getting back to power football, and now these DNs can't stop these running backs.
They're getting blown off the damn ball.
I mean, look at the situation in Dallas. That was Dallas's issue versus Green Bay last year in the playoffs. They just bludgeoned them because Dallas is so small up front, and they can't hold up the power football. That's why I say styles make fights. You know what I'm saying? Like us against, if we go 12 personnel and the offensive line is what we expect them to be, Style makes fights. Us versus our division, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, how we ran the ball last year, ball control, you know what I'm saying? Play good defense, run the ball. That style is different versus getting in the shootout like Green Bay tried to do versus Dallas. You see the difference. If you try and shoot out with Green Bay, right, open it up and we're going to sling it all over the field. If you're not getting first downs,
You're fucked.
You're
if
done.
you're not getting first downs and moving the chain, you're going to look up on the scoreboard. It's going to be 21-0. You know what I'm saying? And now you're forced to play a certain style. But go ahead, because I had a go ahead, Jay. I had a point off of this that I wanted to.
I wanted to just say before we leave off of 12 personnel, we just signed Gerald Everett. Okay, so that just
Who's
because we're
on the
in
pup list right now? But yeah, continue.
yeah, but in a situation like that, they're telling you that we want to have two tight ends on the field. So even if we're running a 12-man personnel, that doesn't mean we're going to abandon the pass game altogether. It's just giving a defense another look. If I'm a defensive coordinator right now and I see the Bears in 12 personnel, I'm going to assume that they're trying to run the ball. That is where you get Caleb in a play action situation, and you can
Exactly.
sneak Cole Kmet right up the seam, and you could get those chunk plays without leaving the nature of the offense.
I
Be out there too.
I like it. I like the game plan going into the season to start out lean heavy on the run game out of 12 personnel. There's a compromise there though. The compromise is just make sure Keenan Allen is on the field. Put Rome, I thought about this after the show. There's a compromise. Just make sure that Keenan Allen is on the field. If you're going to be in 12 personnel on third down situations, right, make sure Keenan Allen is on the field. Key down situations, you can play Rome. Just make sure Keenan Allen is on the field in key situations. So it's going to be upon Shane to have his personnel groupings together, which, again, goes back to what we discussed about preparation for the season, the preseason, not necessarily having to be about how many plays the players, Caleb, the offense get. That's one of the tests too. Can Shane get his personnel groupings on and off the field smoothly? And I can't count how many times last season, where especially early on, where we had bad personnel groupings on the field. Like we would have, why is Corey Blasingame out there split out on the empty set as the number, you know what I'm saying, as the
Don't give me
whatever
started.
position they had him in.
Don't get me
You know what I'm
started.
saying? But I've also saw in the preseason last year or early on in the season last year where they were having to take timeouts or having confusion as to who should be on the field when. That's part of preparation and get ready for the field. Also, I want to say this too, because we bring up these topics on the show, right? And I thought about this. Me and Jay talked about this pre-prod. Even if it doesn't work out one way or the other, right? Say we come out and we go 11 personnel and we're tearing teams' ass up, right? In the beginning of the season, you still knew what to look for. You know what I'm saying? See, the point is not to be right with these takes, right? Or these topics that we bring up. But again, my question would be is, all right, if we didn't talk about these things, some of the nuances of the game, 11 personnel, 12 personnel, deciding how Shane decides to play it with Rome. And, you know what I'm saying? It creates, you know what I'm saying? In theory, it creates a conflict for us to discuss before a down has been played. But would we look for these things otherwise is what I'm saying. So it's not necessarily about being right. It's about giving you something to look for as a fan that otherwise, you know what I'm saying, like my pop says, I wouldn't pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? Would you pay attention to whether we were playing a lot of two high safety, single high safety, you know what I'm saying? You know, if we didn't have these nuanced discussions on the show like this. That's the point of it, Julius. I had to say that, but I'm gonna give it to you before I forgot my point.
No, you good. I was gonna ask y'all, because I know we're talking about Rome being on the field, all that, and you mentioned Keenan. I feel like Keenan should be out there. Like, I feel like Rome has an uphill battle, because you looking at two dudes in Keenan and DJ who have been consistent and can be dependable. So unless Rome is Jerry Rice or Megatron reincarnated, it's gonna be hard for him to like for me, in my mind, I'm putting DJ or Keenan out there before I put Rome. I'm sorry, like they didn't prove it. It's not a slight on Rome, but you're a rookie, dude. You got to earn your stripes. So until you do that, I'm putting the guys that I know that when you need a first down, DJ, Keenan, going out there. Show Rome the ropes. And then there's times where Rome will have a mismatch. Then you can stick him out there. But putting him out there just because he's the 9th pick, no.
Let me go a little bit deeper why I said the balance, the compromise is making sure Keenan is out there because DJ gonna play. Let's get that out the way. DJ gonna get his reps, but making sure Keenan is out there. Keenan being the key early on.
Right.
Go back to Courtney Cronin's reporting. Everybody's reporting. Who did they room Caleb up with? Who did he share roomed him up with? Who's he playing Monopoly? He's playing Monopoly with. He's rooming up with Keenan Allen. Why? Because they're gonna be on the same sheet of page because Keenan is going to be his Travis Kelce. He's going to help him with the reading of the coverages. Because remember what Patrick Mahomes, Justin, what's his guy in L.A.? Herbert is talking about, I ain't learned how to read coverages in year 3. Guess what? They're not learning the nuance of safeties, spinning safeties, who's coming down in the box, who's staying where. They're not learning that until year 3 anyway. The person that's going to crack the code for that for Caleb is going to be Keenan. The more Keenan's on the field, he's going to be able to look up and say, oh, yeah, that safety's not staying there. You know what I'm saying? He's leveraged. He's finna get ready to go and fall to his deep half of the field, or he's coming down in the box. Hey, I'm just going to run to an empty spot on the field. Throw me the ball, Caleb. That's what Travis Kelce does. Kelce just runs to a hole in the zone, and Patrick looks away. He comes back to Kelce every time. That's cracking the code. That's reading coverages year 1 through 3 for Patrick Mahomes. So again, that's why I said the balance is the compromise is okay. If I'm a run Rome out there, I'm gonna give him some tick on 1st and 2nd down, but 3rd downs, let's make sure Keenan's on the field.
No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was just gonna say, Coach T, you hit the nail on the head. 1st and 2nd down will be key for the Chicago Bears. That's where Caleb is going to get his success percentage, just like C.J. Stroud. Now, in regards to Rome Odunze, there's a lot that goes into what he's walking into because, yeah, he's the 9th pick. But what if you got a guy out here missing blocking assignments on 1st and 2nd down in 12 personnel? That's detrimental to what we're trying to do. You cannot go forward if you're having mistakes like that. Having a guy like Keenan Allen, who you know for a fact is going to be at the right place at the right time, sealing off the edge so Rojo or Khalil Herbert can run right behind it, that's going to be key on 1st and 2nd down. If you got Rome out there who's still trying to get his feet wet, there could be a lot of fucking missed assignments to where instead of we're knocking on the door to some points, we got the punter from down under taking the field. Like Caleb already said, like, yeah, you're the best punter in the country, but if it's up to me, your ass ain't seeing the field.
Yeah, and we're not saying Rome's gonna be trash or Rome's blah blah blah. It's a matter of schematics. It's a compromise. It's a compromise for it's a piece. It's a problem, an equation that Shane Waldron has to solve. There is a conflict of interest between how we need to play to win and playing in 11 personnel. 11 personnel is not the style unless he reinvents football, right? Or I'll say another exception. If we can run the ball well out of 11 personnel, but that's predicated heavily on the 6 guys up front. Right. It's going to have to be the 5 guys up front have to be super dominant out of 11 personnel plus the tight end. So let me ask that question. How successful do you guys believe we can be running the ball out of this? Did we keep Corey on the roster? Corey Blasingame?
Yeah. Corey's on that. Yeah, he's on that. So
that's not 11 personnel with Curry out there. But either way, how successful do you guys believe we can be running the ball out of 11 personnel? Whether it's Mercedes out there as the tight end, Cole, or Everett. I think Everett's probably going to be primarily the pass catching tight end, but How successful do you guys believe we can be running the ball 11 personnel? Because if you say we can be to the point where we're able to preserve Caleb and protect him early on, then it's not a conversation.
I think it depends on the offensive line.
Right.
Offensive line ain't got to be able to block somebody. If they can't block a soul, you ain't running 11 personnel. We know that. I mean, like, and I think that's the thing that a lot of fans are glossing over. Because we saw it last year. Like, the Bears couldn't block nobody. Like, so if you can't block anybody, I don't care if you got the Avengers out there. You got to block somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, ask Joe Burrow how that Avengers squad for his wide receivers worked out for him in the Super Bowl.
And I'm glad. Like, Nomad just said that. He said Swift was effective in 11 personnel in Detroit. Yeah, because Detroit had that line.
Okay, hold on, because I hate
Here
people.
she goes.
Here she goes. Nobody remembers Swift from Detroit but me. That
No,
man
I
is
do.
a bona
That's
fide bum.
That's
Okay.
I like
this,
Swift though.
This man was avoiding contact. Like, he had a bad injury. I think it was his sophomore season.
Yeah.
Ever since then, that man avoids contact.
Thanks, Nomad, for triggering Elise to talk about Swift in Detroit.
Every time. Okay? Like,
Nomad triggered Elise.
He went from the Detroit offensive line to the Eagles offensive line. He's downgrading in offensive lines. Like, y'all go see. I ain't got to say it. Y'all gonna see.
I disagree. Swift is.
I'm triggered.
I like Swift.
I'm triggered.
We finna have DeAndre Swift looking like USC Reggie Bush. At least.
Okay, so watch this. Let me add this. Let me add this little caveat in. Right. Let's go past Swift and say, okay, with that style, if I run 11 personnel, you know what I'm saying? Again, we talked about this a little bit before, but hey, I'm just going to tell y'all, the running back 3 on this team, he's going to be a just in case guy. He's going to be the guy in case somebody gets hurt, that's when he'll see carries. Whoever's running back 3, you're not seeing the field, buddy. There's not enough plays in football. Trust me. I call plays for years. There's not enough plays in a game to get 3 running backs enough touches in a given game. You're going to get about 70 offensive plays, 70, 75, right? And a 55-60 split, or that's bad math. 55 45 split. You know what I'm saying? You're probably, it's tough enough to get carries. That's my point.
It better be Khalil Herbert as RB3.
What say y'all? I want to hear it. Shout out to Elise. I'm rocking with Elise on that one.
So,
yeah.
Because Roschon's a better pass blocker and pass catcher out the backfield, right? Like, Roschon could pass catch and block, right? Herbert can't do either of those. Like, there would be plays last year, Herbert's out there, bro is getting whiffed every time. I'd be like,
well, hold on now. I'll say this. I'll say from his first year. I was, what year is this for Khalil? Year 4?
4.
From his first 2 years to last year, he improved tremendously.
I didn't say he didn't.
But he's still not.
It was obvious that he was not better in that department compared to Roschon.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was not better. Like, it was obvious every time you saw it. It was obvious who the better blocker and pass catcher was. That's why, to me, if it were me, RB3 is going to be Khalil Herbert.
So what do you think? T, what do you think? Because you studied Waldron's offense. Who do you think going to be 1, 2, and 3?
I say RJ's going to be number 2. Shane likes big backs. Pause.
I like big backs, and I cannot.
He likes to run mid zone. Mm-hmm. He likes to run mid zone, and that's straight out of the mouth, straight from the mouth of Kerry Joseph. He likes to run mid zone, and if you're running mid zone, remember the running back rule is bend, break. It's 3 Bs. I always get them mixed up. You break it outside, you bust it outside, you break it inside, or you bend it back. But it's 3 Bs, right, on the zone. Inside, outside, inside, middle zone. It's 3 B rules. And you want to have a guy that when there's no hole, he can make a hole just through his pure physicality. Now, your boy is physical too. Swift is Swift. He's a physical runner. He's a dynamic runner. He can run physical, but I like the idea too. And this is one thing that I did like that Detroit did. They gave you a power, speed, quick combo, right? They gave you a changeup guy, right? So when games get tight during the end, if it's a defensive game, and watch this, what is the rule for offensive coordinators in close games? What is the rule? What is the rule? If I put 10 offensive coordinators in a room and asked them this question, they would yell out the same thing right now. What is the rule for offensive coordinators in tight games?
Ask Madden. You thought I didn't know. You thought I didn't know.
This is why you hear. This is why you hear. I love it. And the animal analogies. We got you here for the comic relief and animal analogy. And the statistical breakdowns too. The rule is in tight defensive games, run the damn ball.
Yeah.
I don't care if they know what hole you're running it to. Take the air out of the ball in tight games. Take the air out of the ball and run the ball. Because what happens is the more creative you try to get, the more fancy or cute you try to get in those tight, the game will call itself. Let the game call itself. You don't have to call it. Let the game come to you, Shane. So in those tight defensive battles, take the ball, take the air out of the ball. And in those situations, if I know, if I get in a situation where the defense knows I'm running the ball, you know what I'm saying? The announcer knows I'm running the ball. The opponent knows I'm running the ball, then I'm taking Roschon. Because if there's no hole there, he's gonna fall. He's gonna fall forward for 3.
Mm-hmm.
3 plus 3 is 6. Get me to 3rd and 4. I'll take Caleb Williams all day long in 3rd, 4th situations.
Oh, yeah.
With Shane Waldron. Give me a play action boot and first down and move the chains. That's what we're doing. It's not, I don't expect it to be cute early on. I don't. I expect it to be Chicago football, yeah, clunky. Not necessarily clunky. I don't expect it to be dynamic early on, where it's like, oh, we're throwing the ball over the field. I expect us to run it, be physical, play close games, win with defense early on. That us have a middle portion of the season where we get to do a little bit of that. And then if we get to the playoffs, go back to what y'all did early in the beginning of the season. Go back to running the ball and playing good defense, because that's what's going to win in the playoffs.
Look at what Kansas City was doing last year with the running back is slipping my mind.
Pacheco.
Pacheco, right? Pacheco he wasn't averaging 5 yards a carry, even 4.5 yards a carry. But what Kansas City was doing, they were using him as a battering ram to make sure that they could control one possession games. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Look at how Baltimore folded when against Kansas City in the title game, in a one possession game, just because they was under the impression they needed touchdowns. So what Kansas City did, flip the script. We're gonna bludgeon you to the point to where offensively Lamar has to beat Patrick Mahomes instead of Lamar.
Listen, great discussion. I want to get to the main topic of today's show. Of course, I put it last because I feel like it's an interesting conversation to have. All of the conversation, and this idea was sparked by seeing this graphic. Shout out to NFL Live for the graphic. Bears quarterback history, 0 seasons with 4,000-yard passer, 0 seasons with a 30-yard touchdown passer. 39 starting quarterbacks since 1989, right? Again, Bears football from a coach's perspective. I'm looking at this totally different. I don't believe, if you look at our history, right, I don't believe we've never had franchise level talent at the quarterback position. I don't believe that. I believe we've had franchise level talent at the quarterback position. Now, football being more nuanced now, more people having media outlets, channels, we can discuss football more nuanced and details. More attention's become and focused on the coaching, particularly the offensive coordinators now. And the Bears have rolled this out. What are we doing? I recognize me and Jay were talking pre-production. I recognize 2, 3, 4. I recognize 6 of these guys in this, well, 7 technically, in this graphic right here. Nasty work. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Which one of these guys went on from Chicago to do anything in the NFL pioneer anything, trailblaze anything.
Hey, why are you hating? Matt Nagy got his Super Bowl rings. Stop it.
Man, at least on your trolling this morning, huh?
It's nasty work.
Is it the fact that we've never had a franchise level talent in Chicago, or have we never had a franchise level play caller, offensive coordinator? My follow-on question to that is Shane Waldron coming into the situation the best we've had? Does he have the best resume? Does he have the greatest opportunity, if you will? And then the third part of that question, this is a loaded one, right? Quarterback of OC, is Shane better than anybody we had coming into the situation? And the third question, I just had an old moment. It'll come back to me. I should have wrote it down.
Can I answer this?
I was trying to do too much. I should have had coffee. Jay laughing at me.
Right, he's laughing hard.
Go ahead, AJ.
Okay, so I feel like people are gonna hate this answer, but also like this answer because I feel like you could say yes to both. I feel like for certain quarterbacks, yeah, it was the LC, but for others, the quarterback was just not good. Enough, I guess you could say. Like I think about the era I remember the most is Jay Cutler, right? I remember Jay Cutler's time with the Chicago Bears, and he was talented in Denver before we traded for him in 2009 or whatever it was, right? Like he was throwing for 4,000 yards and all this nonsense, right? Like so you automatically think, oh man, like we just got this dude, we got a dude, right? But then you look at the OCs and you look at the fact that he went through 7 OCs in 6 years or whatever it was, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to ask yourself, how do you expect any quarterback, even a guy like a Jay Cutler who is having great seasons, marvelous seasons, how do you expect him to succeed when every year he has to learn a new playbook? Like how do you expect him to thrive in that kind of situation, right? Like there was no doubt in his talent. Yeah, he made some boneheaded plays. I'm not going to deny that, right? Like there were some plays where you're like, probably should have not done that. But you could see the talent and you could see why he had all that success in Denver. But for whatever reason, he gets to Chicago and it just never clicked, right? It never clicked. But then you look at the fact that he went through all these OCs, so he was learning a new playbook every single year. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care, how good your talent is. No one can thrive in that kind of situation. And
great point, Elise. I don't want to cut you out. I want to capitalize on what you just said right there. Right? So, because the knock on, to me, Cutler was franchise level talent. Yes, franchise arm talent. Franchise level arm talent. So the knock on Jay would be Jay never reached his potential. Jay had leadership, character issues, right?
Yes.
But you said about the offensive coordinator changes that Jay needed to endure. Who's that on? Is it on Jay to just take it and be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to be here. All y'all clowns keep getting fired every other year, and so I'm finna be a diva. Like, is the fact that Jay was a bit of a diva and was labeled with being a bad leader, is it Jay's fault or is it the organization's fault? Because
I feel like it was both, right? I feel like organization-wise, it's like, how do I just ask? How do you thrive out of that? Like, Jay Cutler was like the dude. Like, y'all have to go back and watch him at Denver. Like, he was the dude, right? Like, he was the dude. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
did we break him?
Yes, I think we did. I think he just got enough. Like, every year he's humping his ass, right? He's doing what he needs to do, and every year it doesn't work. He's learning a new playbook. He's like, oh well, here we go again. I got to get a new playbook and learn this offense and hope that we can get it figured out halfway through the season. And it's like, at this point, I'm wasting energy. Like every year, it's the same nonsense all the time. So why would I exert energy and waste my time being, this happy-go-lucky guy?
Go ahead, Julius.
No, so you mentioned the name. I believe it's either Thursday or Sunday. and nobody really said anything. And I just looked up his college numbers, and I want to talk about him real quick because you said franchise quarterbacks, whatever. Jim McMahon, right? Y'all,
Mhm.
he wasn't a franchise quarterback. Let me tell y'all his last 2 seasons. These are his numbers, right? And I'm gonna tell you why I'm bringing these up. His junior season, he threw for 4,500 yards, 47 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. His senior year, he threw for 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So he definitely could throw the ball all over the field. He said, and I'm gonna look for that clip. He said that he wanted to throw the ball over the field, but Dicker wouldn't allow it. He refused to let
Dicker never
air
trusted
it
Jim
out,
McMahon.
and he didn't like him. And then
Yeah,
we had Walter Payton, and we had a great defense and a great offensive line. So there was really no need in Dicker's mind to throw the ball all over the field.
facts.
So I say all that to say it's like I just think that in Jay and Jim, and in case it was wrong place, wrong time for those guys because they weren't allowed to really showcase their talent. And other ones, I think the OCs were past their mark. Like Mike Martz, he's probably the most accomplished that came to the Bears, but after he left, dude ain't been in the NFL. We all
Hey,
know.
y'all gotta start respecting Matt Nagy and his Super Bowl rings. Y'all are out here. This is
No.
Knock
This
it
is
off.
wild
We're gonna take you.
nonsense.
We can turn this in spaces and take you off the screen if you keep it up.
No.
Hey, listen,
You're
we're
about to
talking.
get packed up.
We're talking QB play, right? Franchise quarterback. Is it the OC or the QB? And what better time to segue into our resident QB on the show, Bishop? Let us know what you think. Is it the OCs or the QBs? Is the history of the Chicago Bears? Where's the blame? Is it the OCs or the QBs? I feel like we've had franchise quarterbacks, and then Julius made a great point, right? If you take it in the context, right? How can you say now? This is the OG talking, right? Back then, the way football was played, Jim McMahon was a franchise quarterback for how football. See, Mike Dicker is not throwing the ball all over the field back then because you didn't do that back then. It was what they call three runs in the cloud of dust, right? You get off the bus, running the ball. That was the way you played football. Go back and watch some of those 85 tapes. Everybody in the stadium knew what the play call was. It was Walter Payton right, Walter Payton left, Walter Payton up the middle. And the man still set the NFL rushing, and everybody in the stadium knew he was getting the ball. So the guy wins the Super Bowl with the Bears, but we've never had a franchise quarterback in Bears history. He got a trophy. What are we talking about? Go ahead, Bishop.
Well, one, good morning to everybody. Two, going into everything, like even going back when you even look at Rex Grossman or Kyle Orton, Bears have always been a run first offense. And I really do believe that when it comes down to the Bears' issues, it does come down to scheme, which I believe let me put it this way. When everybody's good in college. Everybody's good in college, no matter what, so we can all agree on that, right?
Ask DeMarcus Russell.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, DeMarcus Russell, the reason why they have the contracts the way they have them structured now. But yeah, so that's first thing off the board. Everybody's good in college, right? What translates over, what your responsibility as a coach is to bring that college quarterback up to speed. Because let's be real, they're going up against, every team has a couple 5-stars that make a difference, and every team has a couple, walk-ons, a couple red shirts, a couple freshmen, right? Mm-hmm. And they take advantage of. NFL, there's none of that. Everybody's a 5-star. Everybody's great. Everybody's running like sub 4-second 40s. Lateral quickness is ridiculous. So it's really on the coach to bring that rookie quarterback up to speed, up to pace on what's going on. I love what's going on with what they're doing with Caleb Williams. They're focusing more so on the play calling, not the cadence. The cadence is going to get there. It's about finding that I love what Caleb Williams said in that interview. It's about finding that green line, not being too loud, not being too quiet, but finding that line where everybody can hear you from the X to the Z receiver. And then also teaching them, just what the concepts are for that offense itself, right? Because whenever OC changes, like Bears have changed their offensive coordinators, like like we change clothes, verbiage changes, different schemes change, and you got to learn that all the way. I would say, and if like the plays that you learn in college is about you learn up to at least like 60 plays, like give or take on average. NFL that gets bumped up to 120 to 150 plays, and it's about understanding like this time what they did in OTAs when you saw the wristband, they're getting Caleb ready for what Shane Waldron needs to run, because we know Shane Waldron is a run first quarterback. Offensive coordinator. So, it's really more so on. It'll be 60% on the offensive coordinator, 40% on the quarterback, simply because the coordinator needs to give translation to that quarterback, and the quarterback needs to have that IQ, that understanding to take in that information and display it on the field.
So you mean coaching matters?
Coaching matters. 100%.
What you're saying? Coaching matters. I
Yes,
know.
sir.
I heard in the spaces somewhere that coaching didn't matter. So
I've heard that too.
Matter.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, like you're a goat. You're a goat regardless of coaching.
Yeah. You can overcome coaching. Listen, I know. I agree with you. The thought was sparked because again, I couldn't remember when being a Bears fan that we had an offensive coordinator. Of course, again, offensive coordinators weren't paid that much attention to way back when. Right. But I can't remember when we had a offensive coordinator get hired out of his job and go on to take over the NFL as a head coach and become this offensive juggernaut. Knock it off, AJ. Knock it off, because I know where you
get a head coaching job.
Hey, by the way,
once he retires. Watch, I'm telling y'all right now.
I got my alternator started in my old man is in the question I had, the follow-on question came to me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like a 85 Cutlass. You gotta warm it up. You can't just jump in there and drive it. Listen.
Y'all young ones don't know nothing about that. Boy.
Yeah, they don't know nothing about an alternator. They don't know about 85 Cutlasses. Listen. So the follow-up question was, is Shane, of the group that we put up here, does Shane come in with the best resume of the group? Now, keeping in mind that usually offensive coordinators are coming in out of here speak, right? They're not coming in. They're coming in off of reputation. Oh, this guy. They're not coming in because they lit up the league usually. So I think this is a softball question I'm asking anyway. Does he have the best resume coming in? Julius not no.
No.
Who'd you throw out there as resumes? Of course, Mike Marks was a Super Bowl.
Mike Marks.
Martha Turner.
And Turner.
Martha Turner. But I would say Marks would be the guy, Turner right behind him.
You know who always, I want to throw this out there too, because I always thought this would be a great pairing, but I never understood why the Bears never did. It was the other Turner that was in Dallas.
Norv.
Why they never hired Norv? Because I felt like during the Cutler era, Norv would have probably been a great fit for Jay if they would have hired Norv and just kept him the whole time if he was available. Here's the go ahead, Jay, and I want to get to this.
No, I just want to touch on like the OC conversation. I think as a collective, outside of Mike Martz and Adam Gase, the Bears has had the worst collection of offensive coordinators in the league, like dating back. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Let's look at 1992 when we had Greg Landry. You remember the old quarterback coach? Some people might remember him with the Illini. The Bears were 18th in point differential and 13th in yardage differential, right? They were 8th in yards, but 16th in points scored, right? So that right there lets me know there was a lot of wasted fucking possessions on the offensive side of the ball. Like they wasted a lot of good.
Under who is this, Jay?
This was Greg Landry in '92.
Oh, okay.
And of course, we went 5-11 Ditka was the head coach. I just want to touch on the quarterbacks numbers real quick because Jim Harbaugh only dropped back. He only had like 358 attempts for 56% completion rating, a little bit under 2,500 yards, 13 tutties, 12 picks, 155 yards per game. But here's the kicker right now. In 358 attempts, the man was sacked 31 times. You're not passing the ball enough to make up those yardages, right? They were running Neil Anderson from Lakeshore Drive to 73rd and Western, and you got sacked 31 times. What type of shit is that?
Wait, time out.
Get off of my national championship.
Wait, time out, dog.
You're out of your mind.
He dropped
Get
back
off the natty man.
Hold on. He dropped back 358 times and was sacked 31
times?
That's 9.5%
Oh my God.
of his dropbacks were
Ooh,
sacked
child.
as a team that's a run-first team.
That's wild as hell.
See, right there.
That's also when offensive linemen, it was acceptable for offensive linemen to be 6'2", 265 too. You know what I'm saying? Offensive linemen were like 6'2", 6'3", like 275. That was a big guy back then. Like you see these guys now, you're like, you play offensive line in the NFL.
Here's the kicker right here. Let's just fast forward a little bit to 2001, where we went 13-3. Outstanding year. The offensive coordinator was John Shoup, right? We were 3rd in point differential, but 21st in yardage differential, 26th in yards per game, and 11th in points per game. You know what that means? The defense carried us. The defense carried us.
Hey, Jay, how come the defense couldn't carry us during the Mark Trestman era?
Yeah, because Mel Tucker.
Let me.
And I don't want to shit on the black man.
Hey, let me pull this back up because Nomad triggered something right here when he said we don't want to be relics, but Chicago does have a style. I thought this was funny because when it boils down to it, when we really discuss it, and we discussed this earlier, we're in a situation yet again where the defense is the strength of the team, right? Everybody's talking top 5 defense, and we got a rookie quarterback. We got a rookie quarterback with a lot of potential and a lot of talents on offense with a lot of potential, but yet and still for at least 10 to 12 games throughout the season, this defense needs to carry the team, and we need to run the ball.
Hey, Coach T, stop it now. You know Caleb's is the next best thing since sliced bread. This man is going to carry us to 12 victories. What are you talking about?
I'm okay.
Hey, Jay, I'm going to need you to sit down for a little bit. Sit down on that recliner that you got in the back.
Did you have some bad pizza last night?
Something.
I do. Hey,
I actually did have pizza last night.
I did too.
I did have a thought. We were talking about that earlier. Like, do we think the Bears are going to go 12 personnel? I think what may trick fans is game 2. I think Houston's going to try to run up and down the field, and we're going to have.
CJ Stroud got that game marked on his calendar.
So what I'm saying is, I think that game is going to trick us thinking that the Bears are going to throw the ball all over the field, because I think in that game we're going to have to, because
we are.
Out
but with the
hair on fire.
Me and Jews don't disagree often, but this is what I'll say. This is the exact reason why you come out in 12. That game versus CJ Stroud or Jordan Love or any high power offense is exactly why, you know what I'm saying, this Bears style of play, traditional relic style of play needs to stick, because the anecdote for a high power offense is your best defense is keeping CJ Stroud, Pat Mahomes and quarterbacks like that off the field. So absolutely, now I'm doubling down. I'm not just going 12 personnel. I'm running Grandpa Mercedes Lewis out there too and going 13 personnel. And I'm telling Caleb, listen, I'm going to call the play. You don't snap the ball until there is 2 seconds left on the play clock every play. And it's going to be the shortest game in the history of NFL football, because the clock is going to keep running, and I'm going to give them limited time to run commercials, because CJ, Pat Mahomes, or whoever this dynamic quarterback is, they're not going to see the field just because I'm not going to allow him to.
I need 350 yards from Caleb per game. Stop it.
So I want to, you know what, AJ, I'm glad you said that. I feel like we're not going to see.
350
You
yards
smoking my shit?
I will say, I'll make a personal prediction. I don't think we're going to see a game over 300 yards from Caleb until like week 6, because of the type of style that Shane
Bishop. Just say you hate Caleb Williams. Say it right now.
No, this is for this reason, right? He's gonna eclipse. I would say
this is the nonsense I hear week in, week out.
This is
what y'all sound like.
This is like the focus is keeping Caleb healthy, and I think Shane, what his style of play and his run first 12 personnel is for that purpose. Now we look at DeAndre Swift, right? That's a guy that you want to throw out in the screen or in a dump pass on an option play. We heard yesterday from sources, even though it was a walkthrough, there was a lot of short intermediate throws that Caleb was making, right? A lot of things that Shane's going to do is he's going to be run heavy first. Like I said, first priority, keep the quarterback healthy. You don't want him dropping back there and getting hit because we don't know what we have at offensive line. We don't know. We saw that Larry Borum, or we heard that Larry Borum was working with the ones. We heard that Braxton Jones wasn't out there as often. He was on there as limited from limited stance, right? So our biggest issue that comes out of every Bears camp is continuity with the offensive line. Offensive line is almost never healthy, 100% coming out of training camp. So when you put a prize like Caleb Williams back there, you want to make sure that, hey, at least you're running the clock, right? A big thing that Shane has is situational planning, which is what I saw with the Seahawks. Whenever they faced a 2nd and 7 or a 3rd and 12, they had a play for that. Last year, I don't feel like we really had that consistently with the personnel and the coaching that we had. So with that being said, I think I would say the reason why I say first 6 games because that's the feel for the game. That's
You're
getting
just
into it.
a hater, Bishop.
I think that the Bears.
I think Jay passed out.
The offense.
Caleb Williams is gone. You didn't know
the defense that we had. You're hilarious. The defense that we had from week 8 all the way to the close, or what was it? It was week 10 all the way to close of the year. We led the league in interceptions. Caleb, the game where Caleb's going to have a lot of opportunities. If we're flipping the field, if we got the punter that we have and the defense is doing what they're doing, Caleb's going to have a lot of opportunities. We will be a run first team, but I see Caleb averaging over 220 yards passing. I don't see him eclipsing 300 passing yards until maybe week 6 or after that. Once he has the rhythm and everything down to a science before bye week.
Nah,
I ain't mad. I ain't mad at. At least we finna AJ. We finna ignore you. I'm not mad at the take, Bishop. I'm not mad at the take, and it's not hate. It's purely from a styles. It's from a styles of play. Again, it's from a style of play perspective. How we need to play to win. Now we can ignore wins. You know what I'm saying? And again, we can't. This is something I'll never do again. I'm gonna say this repeatedly throughout the season. I won't ignore politics, and if they say let the kid loose from upstairs and like let him throw the ball around, blah blah blah. We need to get a fan something. Okay, great. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the equation that we have to take in. But if we want to win, I love the take, Bishop. I love the fact that, hey, you know what I'm saying? Come out there and win. Give them 225, 250, 275. Win the game. Get out of there. And then when you get to a point in the season where teams are saying, listen, the Bears are beating the hell out of people. They're forcing us. They're running the ball all over people. We finna start playing a lot of single high safety, which Green Bay is going to do anyway, by the way, under this new DC, according to their new one of his former cornerbacks that I interviewed at Senior Bowl. You can start pushing the ball over the head. Then you can start taking shots in the seams, you know what I'm saying? Sit down routes in the seams, routes on the move in the seams, and doing what you got to do. But I like the situation. The third question to this OC or quarterback series, and I appreciate all the comments in the chat. Everybody chiming in. We got what's the numbers? What's the count in the chat? Over 145 views. A lot of y'all viewing, but y'all not in the chat. I be peeping game, by the way. I know who y'all are. Y'all be watching the show, but you don't be in the chat. Come in the chat, man. It don't matter. Listen, if you got a big platform, small platform, it doesn't matter. Come in the chat. I know you're there watching anyway. Anyway, is it the best talent situation for the OC and the quarterback in our history? You know, you look at this roster, at least offensively, top to bottom, and you look at the defense as well.
Can I say this? This is based purely on paper.
Only if you're gonna be serious, AJ.
I am gonna be serious.
Okay. I'm just messing with you.
on paper, I guess you have an argument on paper though. I mean, defensive wise, I don't think anything tops the 85 Bears. I mean, that's just come on now. Like that's a high bar, that's a high standard. But offensively, I mean, yeah, you can make the argument. That's not really hard. Offensively, because I don't know. I feel like we don't really invest in offense like that, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm tripping or something. But I mean,
yeah.
See,
when you don't draft receivers until
Jay,
the second round,
Jay pointing at what I'm thinking he pointing at.
I'm pointing that comment right
what
there.
if we finally got our
There's a lot that goes into getting Patrick Mahomes. Where's your Creed Humphrey?
Here's the thing, Illini McG.
Who's the Reed?
Hold on. There's only one Mahomes, right? There's literally only one Mahomes. Like I think people need to get that engraved in their heads. Like let Caleb Williams be Caleb Williams. Don't try to compare
hold on
him
a second. I think McG is having the AJ moment right here. I don't think he's being unserious. I hope he's being unserious about this comment.
Okay.
If we finally got our Patrick Mahomes is cool and all. But I think what Jay just said earlier when he gave the rundown, where's this person, where's that person, where's that person, the talent around him. But again, I hate this. As a coach, I hate this, that we talk about Patrick Mahomes and we never talk about Andy Reid. Andy Reid is one of the most accomplished offensive minds in the history. The history of the NFL. Andy Reid didn't start with Kansas City. Andy Reid was kicking ass in Philadelphia for years.
Teams to the Super Bowl, bro.
4 years. Andy is a Steve Walsh, Mike Holmgren disciple.
Yeah.
Speaking of coaching trees, he's a disciple of one of the greatest coaching trees in the history of the NFL.
Say it.
Walsh, Holmgren, Andy Reid. Andy Reid kicked tail in Philadelphia.
Yes, he did.
He was a winning football coach that was fired in Philadelphia. He was fired because he couldn't get over the hump. So, you know what I'm saying? It was like almost like what we did with to what's his name? Who got us the first draft pick? Lovie Smith. Mm-hmm. He was fired because he couldn't get over the hump. So,
and we've been cursed ever since.
No Andy Reid. I doubt if you get a Patrick Mahomes. I'm just gonna call it hot take. I doubt if you get a Pat Mahomes.
Well, actually, that did come out. Like, so had the Saints not leaked that they wanted Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs would have never taken him. The Chiefs only took him because they wanted to laugh at the face of the New Orleans Saints.
All right. So I got. So we were talking about. I'll let Bishop chime in on this because we haven't heard from him enough. The talent level, Bishop, with Shane. Is it of this history of the Bears, right? Is it the most talent that our OCs had to work with in Shane?
Yes, 100%. I don't see any of the OCs working with 3 wide receiver ones. And then also on top of that, we have 2 tight ends that are very capable. I know one of them is on the NFI list currently, but yes, 100%. This is the best. This is the best talent that we've seen. I would say, looking back in Chicago Bears history, altogether on one side of the field, on both sides of the field, actually, because you look at T.J. Edwards, you look at Tremaine Edmonds, and Tyreek Stevenson's coming to his own. He's a physical back. Of course, Jalen Johnson's one of one. And then on the offensive side, you have DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. You have Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift. And then to lead the pack, you have Caleb Williams coming out, one of the best prospects that we've seen in NFL history. The thing, going back to what I was saying to clarify, the whole yardage, right? Because a lot of people want to stat packs, a lot of people want to stat watch. Situations matter. if the Bears defense is what we are saying, right? As collectively, as I've seen on Twitter, as I've seen what analysts are saying, the defense is going to rock it, right? And we have the punter that we have for a reason, to flip the field and to give Caleb Williams short yardage, right? If Caleb Williams is working with short yardage for a lot of the time and getting a lot of the balls, it's there's a lot of opportunity to, of course, sling the ball everywhere. But here's the thing: the way this offense is, the reason why I say eclipsing 300 yards is because Shane, if you talk to any Seattle Seahawks fan, if you look at the tape from last year, Shane is a run first coach. And it's like
which by the way, I love, man. I don't understand it. Like, I get it. Like, fans want to compete with their fantasy stats. They want to, they want to have a guy that's a quarterback for the sake of having the yards. I mentioned this earlier. I said, I don't know if it's a generational thing that, we just prefer the likes over being rich. I don't understand that, but I like it. I like the fact that he's a run first guy. Because guess what? If we get to the playoffs, we get back in the playoffs in Chicago while we're outside, what is going to win us football games?
Mm-hmm. And I like what nobody's saying in this comment here. Yes, the style will change from week to week, but when you go up against players like CJ Stroud, right? The name of the game is keeping them off the field as often as possible. And how do you do that, Coach?
Your identity. Identity. You got to run the ball. And I left this comment up because I don't think it changes week to week early on. You can't. You have to have the capability of changing it early on. What can you change it to week early on when the kid is not ready yet? He won't be able to read coverages yet.
Well, so I do have a little bit of pushback on that because we don't know. We don't know what's in those. That's the thing about having a defensive coach as a head coach, is that coverage reading is case by case, right? We don't know if he's not going to be able to read coverages by week 1, by week 7, but after bye week Thanksgiving. That's the thing. We will see it based on the film that we see, Coach, based on what we read, what we see on the field, the proof that's in the pudding. But I want us to. This is my challenge on this. I want us to take that aspect out of it, simply because Caleb Williams has shown the ability, and like, again, cadence and calling plays from. Look at the break that they had from OTAs and minicamp to training camp, right? What's the first thing that Keenan Allen said about it? So, he's improved, even though,
shout out to him. By the way, that's why we document that here on the show. That's why we pay attention. Y'all get mad when we pay attention to stuff like he's wearing a wristband or he's struggling with calling plays. If we never talked about it, there would be no follow-up to say, oh, by the way, or there would be no emphasis on it when we come back to the show and say, by the way, Keenan says he's calling the play smoothly now. He's better at it. That's what I told you we wanted to do in the first place. We wanted to document week over week, what is he doing, right? That's why I'm mentioning now, and I'm okay with Bishop giving pushback. That's exactly what we want to do on the show. I'm okay, but I'm still coming out at the beginning of the season and says, for a rookie quarterback, and I know what Bishop is going with him, right? He's proven that he's going to put in the work from a play calling perspective and put the improvement in. What's to say that he won't put the work in to do what he can do to reading coverages, right? My only caveat, or my only kind of debating the negative on that is I still respect the progress. I still respect the process in it's not going to be a week 1 to week 3 thing, right? He still has to see Shane's play schemes versus all these coverages and say, okay, he has to build his own library, so to speak, and say, okay, I remember this from week 1 where I might have made a mistake where I could have went here, but I went there instead. And now my library experience has taught me to go here. I think the experience, the combination of the experience and having gone through it and built his own individual experience library, and having Keenan connected to him and saying, hey, early on, watch out for this. Or, you know what I'm saying? When in doubt, throw it to Keenan, because Keenan's going to be always in the right spot, right?
And I think, and not to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
One of my favorite aspects about Caleb Williams is his ability to reset the pocket wherever he's at, right? His shifting and drifting. that he does. If you see his footwork is ungodly. Like the things that he does where he's able to keep his head on a swivel. A lot of things I want to see Shane Waldron do is a lot of rollout passes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where he where it's whether it's a fake toss, roll out to the outside, Caleb Williams is able to reset the pocket wherever he's at. And what I mean by that is when you see not throwing on the run, but able to get outside the pocket, set his feet, whether it's a hitch or a step into a throw, he's able to see what coverages are out there for him because he's able to see more open. He doesn't have the defensive lineman or offensive lineman around him. He doesn't have the linebackers spying on him per se, right? Starting off. But what we will see is that when they shift the blocking schemes, when Shane is able to make it easy for Caleb, or where Caleb doesn't have to do it on his own, right? Caleb will get to that point where he's like, he's seen everything 3 times. So he's able to dissect the defense on his own. But what it's going to start off is hand holding. You want to do this for any rookie quarterback that gets out there. The speed, the tempo, everything. That's why, we will see the fruit of Caleb Williams' labor. Like when Keenan Allen said, he came in, play calling was precise, did not stutter, clear, boom, got in and out of the huddle. One thing I saw a lot in the Bears offense last year was they were getting out of the huddle, but with like 11 seconds left on the play clock.
Yeah.
That's not enough to dissect
get up,
what's going on. Yeah.
Get up, motion, get people, exactly. Lined up. Give enough time for pre-snap read stuff, right? Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
You're looking at the safeties because the cornerbacks are going to lie to you. The safeties are going to tell you the truth, right? But if you got 11 seconds on the clock and you have to do all these pre-snap motions, you have to communicate different reads to your wide receivers, your running backs, the protection schemes. 11 seconds is not enough. So when you're calling plays and you're doing it concisely and right on the first time, where you get up to the line, you got an optimal maybe like 18 seconds. You're able to see the whole field in the entirety of what it is for pre-snap read specifically. So what's something that Shane Waldron likes to do? Motion. Pre-snap motions is something that Shane Waldron likes to do. Something that we have on the offense. We have every wide receiver can play in the slot. Every wide receiver that we have has played in the slot. So matchups, different schemes like that, right? The offense is going to be electrifying. I'm just going to say that right now. Like I said, it's a buildup on what I'm giving. My predictions is simply my opinion, where I see how I would do things, right? Not necessarily like, if Caleb Williams comes out and rips out 400 yards, he could very much well do that. He could very much well do that against the Tennessee defense. The coaching?
The disrespect to L'Jarius Sneed and Justice Rivers is crazy, dog.
So it's not disrespect. It's not disrespect. It's the fact that it's not disrespect. It's not disrespect because there's no film on Caleb. There's no film on Caleb. There's no disrespect. It's you come out. You're gonna come out.
Who we talking about?
They're not gonna know what's gonna come with the.
But we're talking about one of the best D tackles in football. Yeah, and one of the best corners in football.
100%. But here's the thing. At least it takes 11, not just 2. So when it comes down to defense,
got other dogs though.
Defense's best friends is film. Offensive best friends is film.
You act like he's never played before the NFL. He played in college.
No, and I understand it, but everybo's good in college. That's why I bring it up.
They don't have NFL version. I think Bishop said they don't have the NFL version of film on Caleb. Film.
Everything that they're going to feel on Caleb Williams, because preseason is going to be a shell of what we're going to be running. Everything they're going to be feeling on Caleb Williams will be in person, like play by play. It's not going to be he has a tendency to do this. He has a tendency to do this. No. They have no film on Caleb Williams. They don't know everything that they will know about Caleb Williams will be on the field. Yeah. And that's the benefit of coming out on your rookie debut as being somebody like Caleb Williams. I'm saying now I get 400 yards as an example of me possibly being wrong in a situation where, hey, we don't know. And that's the biggest thing.
No, we said that earlier, Bishop. I think, you know what I'm saying? Listen, the whole purpose is to have a nuanced conversation to give the audience, you know what I'm saying, something to look for, right? The whole conversation in Rome on the field and 11 personnel versus 12 personnel, right? With the audience pay attention to that otherwise? In most cases, no. So we're having conversations that, you know what I'm saying, typically you don't have on these type of shows, right? And giving you something to look for. Same thing with the whole issue with wristband and cadence calling. We had the conversation not to be right, but to give you something to look for. Okay, now that we heard Keenan say, hey, he called the play smoothly. All right, I want to hear that repeated moving forward so we can put that to bed and say he's making the progress and development for it. Same thing, that's why I left this comment up. Why we haven't covered questions his ability to read coverages, because he didn't really do that in at USC. You know what I'm saying? The route combinations connected to an air raid offense is really like parking lot football. If you listen to people that played wide receiver in college in the air raid system talk about it, right? It's really like parking lot football. So there's less involved. He only did it at a 25% rate, right? It's a conversation to have so you can look out for, and you can come back and say, okay, we're seeing progress in these areas. Same thing with the play calling. It's a different system that he's having to do, and it's kind of connected to why people, and I hate the fact that Booker just threw what he threw out there. I hate what he said at the end that, you know what I'm saying, the Bears will regret drafting Caleb Williams first over Jaden Daniels. I don't agree with that part of the take, but I agree with the part of it, the fact that that
was a paycheck take. We all know that was a paycheck take. They're creating storylines. Everybody knows, like, if it was really a true take, they would have been like everybody was saying that Caleb Williams was the undisputed number one pick. These are paycheck takes. They're
but I'll say this also though. But I'll say this also that Dan Orlovsky been saying the same thing in a different way for a number of months. You know what I'm saying, throughout the offseason, and he didn't get that much pushback. I don't agree that Jaden will be better in the long run because he doesn't have the same level of arm talent per se, and Caleb has Shane Waldron. But I think early on, because of his experience with an NFL offense, it's going to look a lot smoother. It's going to look like he knows what he's doing a lot smoother, more so than Caleb, because – you know what I'm saying, the play calling situation and all that, coverage reading and all that stuff. So I hate it that the fans, the chat, they take you giving you something to look out for from a schematic standpoint is hate, or it's blog boys, or this stuff like that. Like, we gotta stop being so sensitive. You wouldn't look for this shit otherwise. You wouldn't be out here reading coverages like Bishop talking about. Safeties tell the truth, corners lie. You wouldn't be paying attention to this stuff otherwise, with the exception of a few people that I know in the chat that know ball like that. So it's giving you what to look for, so you can be able to look at the film. When you look at it on your own, or you're participating on the show, you be like, oh yeah, now I know what to look for now, and I can see where we're progressing. It's not instant grits. It's not Burger King. The cat he has a learning curve. Why do we have such a problem with a kid coming in and not being able to? He has to develop.
I just want to say this,
Coach P, you're talking crazy.
Oh, I just want to say this.
AJ, get your stereos. Get your stereos real quick.
Look at how many timeouts the Chicago Bears have burned over the years just by not getting to play through the helmet, just by not being able to adjust at the line, just in case you got to call an audible. That shit hurts you down the stretch when it's winning time.
I'll say this also. I'm gonna let AJ go. I'm gonna say this also. Just because you practice something in training camp or these rookie OTAs and stuff like that, when live bullets start flying, Shane and Caleb they still have to learn each other. Shane has to learn, you know what I'm saying, his personnel, his people. It's going to be a whole evolution of this offense, because what you practice, I don't care how many times you practice it. I can't tell you how many times I practiced something and felt like I had a great game plan outlined, or I knew the identity of my football team. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And guess what? This happened, that happened, injury happened, and we had to shift and do something totally different. You heard Matt Eberflus emphasize that in an offensive coordinator hired in the offseason, I need a guy that can be multiple, because he recognized during last season, Luke Getsy was a one-trick pony. And he recognized once you got Luke, similar to Matt Nagy, out of his core personnel from the system he knew, he was trash. Go ahead, AJ.
That kind of brought me into this. I was thinking about this the other day, and I kind of want to ask you guys, like, I know for Shane, this is like the first like rookie he's ever worked with. So like it'll be interesting to see how much of the plays he can actually run, how much of his playbook he can actually open up and things like that. Because if you think about Waldron in the past, he's working with guys like Gino, who's seen all kinds of crazy stuff, right? He worked in LA Rams with Stafford.
It was golf.
So Goff. So Jared Goff. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he can and can't do. But I also want to know, do you think that changes his playbook a little bit?
I think organically, the way Shane wants to call an offense to be tailor made for a rookie quarterback. Because if it's a run heavy situation, and you're gonna obviously give them the opportunities to strike, but it's not gonna be like a high volume passing situation to where Caleb can not only protect his box score, but he can also develop at a good rate. I love the marriage between the two.
Booker World got the jokes today, bro. Listen, I'm less concerned about it, AJ, to be honest with you. That's just me, right? I acknowledge the play calling thing, right? But I only took a victory lap only to tell y'all we're looking at the right things on the show, right? So I don't care. I could care less about being right or wrong. But the fact that we're looking at the right things lets me know we're paying attention to the right things on the show. The fact that somebody said something and I told y'all it's not about cadence, it's about play calling. Keenan comes back and says, yeah, he's smoother with the play calling. That's the point. The whole point is, can you look down or can they call through the headset? You know what I'm saying? Scatter the trips right. Y off, Z flee, Z fly, 1 over, X over, 64 sail in. First sound, go. Can you recite that smoothly without having people line up in the wrong place, call in the motion? Because if you say X flee versus X fly and you thought you heard fly and he flees, it's gonna make the difference in the world. Bishop, am I lying? Everything matters. The detail matters. You can't miss one nuanced thing. And the fact that we've got a guy come back after we said this might be an issue, and he came back and say, "Oh, your boy's looking smooth now. All right, we can almost put that to bed now. Let's move on to the next thing." The next thing is, let me see him get off. I'm saying, AJ, I'm not concerned because with him getting the plays, because remember they were having concerns of him reciting the play even off of the wristband. So when I don't see that wristband anymore, I'm not worried right now because he has a wristband. He can look down, he can call it, boom. Now, when I don't see that wristband no more, if it's week 6 and I don't see that wristband no more, I'm going to say, guess what, guys? Stand by. We got us one. This dude finna be a problem. Because when I don't see that wristband no more, that means he's not only reciting it, regurgitating it, he's spitting it out, but he understands it to the point where that's one less thing that I have to think about. I'm saving bandwidth on looking down, having to read a play off a wristband, and I'm just going out there and playing ball. It's second nature to me now. I'm playing ball now.
And something I want to point out too, when it comes down to play calling, defense typically lines up before offense lines up, right? And the way it's set up is you have the quarterback in the middle facing the defense, offensive lineman in front of you, center facing the other way, opposite way, but so that he can also see lineups. You have the skill positions and the running back right behind you as you're calling these plays. This is all set up to where it's like, look, like what Coach T said. If you're not focused on if you got the play calling down to a script for yourself mentally, you're not focused on anything else. Like your focus is on looking up of the huddle, see where the linebackers are. Is it a three linebacker set? Is somebody cheating over to the right? See how they match up when your wide receivers like. There's reasons why every quarterback's cadence is when they walk up. They don't just hop right under center like they do in high school. They don't just hop right under center like they do in college. It's, hey, I'm gonna stand like 3 steps back, look left, look right, look over at the safeties, look at the linebacker, boom. And then if I'm going on the center, then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna call my cadence. I'm gonna talk to my center. I'm gonna talk to the blocking, see where everything's at. Hear what's going on, motion, boom. See, okay, if they're not following, okay, it's zone. Is it zone under, zone over? Is it man to man? Okay, is it single high? I'm gonna look over at Rome, or I'm gonna look at DJ or like I said, he has 3 wide receiver ones. The Bears have the tools to dismantle defenses from all 3 levels. You know, you have the running back by committee. You have
if the line can hold up, sure.
If the line, yes. That's the only question mark of the offense, right, of the team. But you know, you have DeAndre Swift. You have we have
Khalil with DeAndre Swift.
Khalil Herbert. We have also Roshan Johnson, right? We have our tight ends that can run shallows. We have Keenan that can run shallows. Keenan, and let's be real, Keenan is a third down god. You know, so there's a third down option go to right there. What I want to see from the Bears is utilizing not just the quick passing, but the slants. You know, because here's the thing: Caleb Williams is a great anticipatory thrower.
Right.
The best test of an anticipatory throw would be a slant, because you got to throw the ball to where he's going to be, not after he breaks. Because after he breaks, that ball's getting picked off by the linebacker most likely.
I'm gonna go back to something you said real fast, Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you described it excellently, right? When you're describing even getting to the point where you're looking through the huddle and pre-snap reading, you're understanding personnel grouping. If I have my head down at the wristband, you get to a point in your experience level with the play calls. This is why people are like, why you make a big deal out of air raid versus traditional offense, blah, blah, blah. Well, 87 stab is different than that elongated play call I gave you early on, that you're having scattered to shifts, to motions, to alignments, to moving the Y off the line of scrimmage, to putting them on, to moving the running back from where he would traditionally be in the formation to the other side of the formation, where you're adding motion Z fly or Z flee and calling out the route concept. That's totally different. Your ability to look down and do that on the wristband versus you're just regurgitating what Shane Waldron said through the headset. You're looking up as the defense is lining up. Bishop called out this detail. I don't want y'all to miss this. It was a great point he made. Your ability to just listen to what Shane said in the headset while you're watching the defense line up. You see the personnel grouping, you see the alignment, and while you're doing that, you're calling the play. So I'm giving you, you know what I'm saying, scatter the ace right gun, Y off, 4 over, Z fly, 976 in, out, whatever, sell. Okay, boom. But if I get to the point I'm doing that while they're lining up, I'm saying it like it's second nature, and I'm doing it while they're lining up. So by the time I break my huddle, I'm already understanding, they're in reduced personnel, it's too high safety. The safety is inside the hashes, outside the hashes, or he's on one of the safeties is on the hashes, right? So he's probably spinning down into the box versus, going to his outer half or his quarters coverage responsibility, blah, blah, blah. Processing all this information. This is why we have these conversations, to give you something to look for. That's the purpose of why. Listen, I'm very intentional. I'm very purposeful. That's why the group that's on the screen right now, that's why on this screen. I know Bishop is going to talk about things as a quarterback that's going to make me think, oh, yeah, by the way, he's going to bring things out. I know AJ is going to have her moments where she just absolutely trolls y'all to death. I'm just messing with you.
One day she's going to crash out. One day.
I do that all the time. I love to troll.
I know Justin is going to give us the great animal analogies and the comic relief. And I know when it gets all crazy, Julius is going to bring us all back home. That's why we're here. Anyway, we've been on for an hour and some change. I told you I was trying not to do 2 hours, but hey, it always gets good at the end, man. So it is what it is. So I appreciate y'all. I don't know if we decided whether it was the quarterback or the OC. I'm saying it's the OCs. I'm saying we have an opportunity here with the OC and the talent to overcome and put these Bears offensive woes to rest and probably do some things towards the end of the season. And
60-40 offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop said 60-40. AJ, what are you capping off with? You said absolutely the OCs, but you can put a percent on it.
Same thing, 60-40. OC's quarterback.
I got to go harder because I'm a coach. So I'm going to say
It's your coach,
70-30. Anyway.
I know you're going to say that. No, it's I feel like 60-40.
I feel like y'all probably y'all more than right, but I'm just trying to be a contrary. Listen, we're going to be back on.
You be me so bad.
Oh, you know what?
To be me so bad.
We did have one question. I don't know if he's still in here, but I want to.
Oh, let's get it.
Yeah, what's up?
We talked about everything. He asked, have y'all talked about Gervon body change? He's been taking snaps at the end.
Yeah. No, he took snaps. I told y'all, we didn't talk about it today, but I mentioned on our comeback show that Javon Dexter actually took snaps at DN last year, and I thought that's what the remedy was going to be for everybody's making noise about, who's going to be the pass rusher on the other side. I believe coming into the season, they went to him in the offseason and say, hey, you look good out there on the outside. Go get in shape because you're going to have to play on 3 downs. You're going to have to play inside and outside, right? While we bring Pickens and somebody else in to play interior, and you're going to be part of our edge rush rotation. So, yeah, it's going to be – I'll dive more into that on Tuesday. We'll be back 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 4 p.m. Central. Also, look out for Bears breaks. Something I'm going to be doing a lot more during the course of the week. Doing Bear breaks are going to be like 5-10 minute updates on what's happening at training camp or with the Bears organization. So if you see one of those alerts pop up for a new update, yes. Also, do me a favor. That was my first one, and I had so many in there and so many pauses. I got to get better, but. It's all about the progress and process. So just like Caleb, I got to get better. Listen, also do me a favor. You're watching this on the playback. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Tell people about Chicago Bears 360. We're going to be doing more things. We're going to do college football rundowns. By the way,
I'm about to cook y'all
suckered me into take the comment down real fast, dude. Y'all suckered me into buying NCAA 25 and I had played a football game. Yeah, I downloaded it and I played. I actually even went into Road to Glory series. I created my grandson, who's probably going to be more or less. He's going to be either offensive lineman or defensive lineman, judging by his mom and his dad. My daughter's 6'8". I mean, not 6'8". No, not 6'8". 5'8". She's 5'8". She's 5'8", built like her dad. His dad is 6'5", 6'6". So more than likely, Juju. And he's a Juju. I know he's gonna play football, and he lives in Florida. If your name Juju,
he's definitely playing.
And your mom 5'8",
he's definitely playing ball.
You playing ball? You playing something? But yeah, y'all suckered me into it. I haven't played the game online yet. I think the gameplay is pretty good.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm scared. I don't like losing. So
I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some, Coach, because I literally had I play PC. And of course, on NCAA 25 they announced they're just gonna do consoles, right? So I went out got me a Xbox One X, just for the game, right? And one thing I will tell you and prepare for, bro, tackling defense does not exist in that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People just running through tackles like crazy on it. The one thing that I say I did do good in the Road to Glory was that I thought was impressive after watching people's TikToks and videos on the game. They said Road to Glory, if you go underdog mode, is impossible to get on the field.
Yeah. You can't get on the field.
I'll say this. So I downloaded Friday night. I did a quarterback, Juju 6'3" and some change, you know what I'm saying? Versatile quarterback, runner, thrower. I got on the field on the underdog mode in a season and a half.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I got on the field less than half. 5 games into his sophomore year, I got on the field. So I think it's how you play, how you do the practice mode,
right?
How you run your pass mode. So I think I cracked the code on the practice mode
Peter?
To get
TikTok. Hop on TikTok.
Yeah. No, it's like so it's all predicated on points, right? You get points in practice mode, right? So you would think to level up the quarterback the quickest in practice modes, they have 3 phases where you do the option, you do passing game versus kind of like skeletons, and then you do passing game versus multiple people where you're outman. And you would think logically the way to level up your points the quickest is to work on your passing game and beat the practice mode.
You just went green on me, Coach.
That's because somebody's calling. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, somebody's calling. I don't know who it is.
That means you need to get it on. They say, hurry up.
Yeah, that's really what it means.
I got a question. I got a question from the masses though. Here's the thing.
Last thing, because Coach T sound like he got to go. What's up?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Would you consider an explosive offensive bout? Like, I'm gonna give you some stats. I'm gonna give you two scenarios. 380 yards passing, let's say 60% completions, 3 touchdowns. Rushing yards, however, is sub 60 yards, and like maybe like two yards per carry. Or would you take 200 and let's say 290 yards, 21 for 24, two passing touchdowns, and like plus let's say 100 total combined rushing yards for one rushing touchdown. Which one would you take?
Which one wins us the game?
Both. I mean, like let's just not even just winning the game, but just when you just look at like just paper.
Which one wins the game?
Let's say both win the game, but you're looking down at paper, right?
I'm 2.
You're taking option 1 where you're just like
option 2 because
2 would be more impressive, but Stat Boy is gonna say
right. Stat Boys will say 1, but I feel like number 2 because it's more balanced, right?
It's balanced. Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
I like balance. I think it's needed. I just care about the W. It's really it's gonna come back to that. I'm gonna keep saying that. Which one wins us the game? Whichever way we win the game, that's what
AJ, I love that you said that because as players know, winning is contagious. Once you start winning, start stacking up W's, you just know how to win.
Right.
Exactly.
I just care about winning the game. How do I win the game?
You'll do anything to win the game, man.
Bro,
listen.
If I throw for 100 yards and 5 touchdowns and we lose, I'm going to be mad. But if I throw for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns and we win the game, I'm going to be more happier that way. Why?
Listen,
Because
next Sunday we gonna definitely add. We gonna get updates. I want updates on y'all Madden and NCAA records. Also, again, next Sunday we plan on getting into NCAA football, the actual football itself. On next Sunday, I'm going to break off and talk about the SEC. Of course, I'm going to be watching a lot of SEC ball this year. We'll talk about what's coming up. We got some big games coming up. Week 1, I'm going to track that. I know Clemson, Georgia is one of the biggest games. It's going to happen week 1. We're going to keep track of that and update y'all. We want to pay attention to some of these players coming out of college prior to the NFL season next year. Introduce you to them. So
right there.
So there you go. So it won't be such a surprise. Listen, we finna get out of here. For now, I'm your boy Coach T. That's Julius. That's the bishop. The bishop. We gotta get you a preacher rag to throw over your shoulder.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, and that's AJ and also Jay Tarbarian. Justin is out of here. He got to get out of here earlier today. We appreciate y'all tapping in for us today. If you're watching this on X, do me a favor. If you watch this on the playback, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to go over 4,000 subscribers. Listen, I'm not trying to do that and wait to the end of the season. I'm trying to do it within the first 4 or 5 games. Over 4,000 subscribers. I gotta get these guys some tickets. My goal is to get these folks some tickets with through our channel to some games, so we can have some on the
field, like in the game,
in the stadium, reporting from we're gonna do it like that. So y'all tap in. Y'all know the mantra, man. Past, present, and future, we bear down. We'll see and talk to y'all next time. Peace. We out.
Bye.
Let's cue that outro.